What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. MoBeast here again. We got a special video here for you today. A lot of information to unpack, but let's get started. Trying to keep this video as short as possible because you guys want some information about the 5090 and how it performs for VR. There's not a lot of videos for 50 series cards for VR because the VR right now also is in a weird place. And for the most part, you know, most people aren't into VR. Some of the stuff that I see are mainly for sim racing, flight sims, and stuff like that. I did a cool video where I did a Star Citizen VR Vortex experience. If you don't know what Star Citizen is or want to see how Star Citizen runs in VR, go ahead and check that video out. Before this video, we did the Meta cable link setup with the Quest 3 and the 5090, and we ran the performance on that. I'm going to go into details about it. If you want, go watch that video. But today's focus is the virtual desktop setup. I feel like most people do use virtual desktop compared to the cable link. I jump back and forth. I kind of use the cable link a little bit more. I rather have graphical fidelity. I don't mind having a cable. Oh, my hands are going crazy because I'm moving them all over the place. So that's kind of that. What we have set up here on the screen, I have set up a custom overlay for you guys to see, simplified one. Just gives most information that most people want to see in terms of temperature, power draw, and the FPS and average FPS. I have the overlay here on my arm that gives you a little bit more detail. I didn't want to put too much on the screen, but I'll relay that information to you guys. I feel like with virtual desktop, the biggest complaint that people have is they want to get the max fidelity and FPS and also with the least amount of latency. Because you're streaming from your PC, you're gonna have a little bit of latency issues. So if you're overkilling it and maxing everything out and you don't have the proper setup, you're gonna have some latency issues. So that's kind of what we're gonna be going over today. So a little bit about my PC setup. Like I mentioned, I have a 5090 Founders Edition card paired with an AMD CPU 7950X3D, 64 gigs of RAM, an NVMe, the game running on it, and I'm recording to a separate drive. Mind you, I'm doing all of this also recording at the same time. So if you guys don't understand, recording and running VR and playing a game and all this stuff, there's a lot of processing power that it requires from your PC. So, you know, it gives you an idea, hey, am I able to do all this stuff and record if I wanted to? I do have a dual PC setup that I use occasionally for recording, but I wanted to record on the same PC to get an idea how this all holds up together. Am I gonna have latency issues? I have the virtual desktop settings, everything maxed out, bitrate, graphical settings maxed out, bitrate maxed out. I am running on a Wi-Fi 6E 6 gigahertz band, and literally my router is right there, probably like a couple feet away from me in the same room. Fast internet, fast router, no other devices connected to it except my headset. And my PC is hardwired directly into that router. So just give you guys a heads up, that's where we're at. And the graphical fidelity for Half-Life Alyx is all the way maxed out ultra fidelity. So I think that covers everything before we jump in. We're gonna jump in here a little bit. I'm just gonna take you guys through the first level. I'm not gonna go too much because I don't want to spoil the game for anyone who hasn't watched it. I mean, I haven't played it. I know a lot of people who haven't, and I don't I want to be able to talk to you guys versus, you know, being distracted to be shooting. So we're gonna go first parts of the level and go from there, and I'll relay some information here that may not be on screen. So let's get started. So far, so good. Let me do the volume here. So far, so good. No latency issues. Obviously, there is a little bit of a graphical difference from a cable to virtual desktop. So a little bit about virtual desktop. When it came to the 40 series cards, there was a new encoder that the creator of virtual desktop, Guy, his name is Guy, it was the AV1 encoder. He set it up into virtual desktop because the graphics card was capable of doing it, and it was designed for the Quest 3, and there was a lot of different, you know, updates from the 30 series card, which I had before. I had a 3090 to the 40 series cards, and it enhanced the virtual desktop experience because of that encoder. There are a bunch of other encoders now that you can do. There's another one where you can do 400 megabits a second. We'll be going into that after this part, but I know most people that, you know, want to get the new GPU for virtual desktop, other than the performance, is the encoder. So from what I understand, I haven't heard anything where the 5090 doesn't have that encoder. I think they just add on to it. I'm using that encoder right now. So far, so good. The GPU utilization is a lot higher than it was when I was using the cable link, because obviously we're using that encoder and sending that and streaming the PC over. So far, since the launch of the game to now, there have been some graphical dips for like a split second down to like 100, 110, 99. Again, we're streaming, so I'm moving a lot. So that's what's kind of going on. But so far, in terms of latency and with the resolution and bitrate and everything, I don't have any issues. You know, there is a little bit of a notice. There isn't really, but mind you, again, I'm recording at the same time, so that could make a difference. I do hate snap turn, but I'm just gonna leave it on right now. Let's get going. Still looks good. It's virtual desktop quality. Everything looks great. It's not gonna be cable link, but it's still beautiful. It's still a beautiful sight. Latency, no issues with that going on. Cool, let's keep going. So here's another part where we can start talking. We are outside. There's a lot more going on. Obviously, we mentioned detail, but everything is performing just as much as I expected. I had a 30 series card before, and being able to use this encoder does make a difference in the virtual desktop quality and experience.
Wait, I just live here.
Probable anti-citizen. Keep those hands up.
Wait, don't shoot.
Area secure, you man. Give us names.
Didn't steal anything.
Don't care. What did you see?
No, I didn't see anyone.
Get out and take him to the transport.
Dad!
Okay.
Hey, wait, no.
Alyx, great. Okay, let's...
This is another perfect and great scene because he's really detailed. The lighting, the environment, it's usually really good, especially when we have the hologram here on the table. So let's get to it.
Russell,
My plan to get him back.
great. Let's hear it.
Now,
That's going pretty well.
realize that your dad is...
No issues.
When that happens, he's off to have his brain sucked out.
Russell,
Potentially. Maybe not, though. I mean, they could just drill into
Stop.
his... Oh, yeah, still your dad. Right, well, what they will do is take him by train from here. This is Eli to Nova Prospect.
and if he gets on that train,
Stay here for this plan to work.
all right? Fair enough.
Just outside, there's a second train that also leads out of City 17 through the quarantine zone.
Okay.
Okay, so I feel like this is a good spot to stop here before we switch to the next codec. We're gonna do the one where you're able to get 400 megabits per second. I think it's like H.265 plus, I think, or is it H.264 plus? I can't remember, but we're gonna go for that one. But so far so good, guys. We are pretty good performance and latency. There are some hiccups here and there that I did notice a little bit, you know, when there's a lot going on, a real like FPS drop, or when we were in the room, there was probably like around 3 to 4 FPS drop during the whole conversation as I'm moving. Depending on what you're doing, there's gonna be different FPS drops, but for the most part, it's pretty steady. You're having it above 100 frames per second playing this game, streaming wirelessly is phenomenal. While recording, I'm pretty sure if I had no recording, I'd have a lot less issues, but just to give you an idea, if you wanted to record and play this game and do all that, there's a lot going on and pretty good. So I'm gonna stop right here real quick. I'm gonna switch codecs and I'm gonna stay in this area just to be fair, just do a little quick, you know, comparison because, you know, I would have to, if we go to another spot too far off, it's not gonna be fair because you're not really comparing it. So we're gonna stay within the vicinity area just to show a different codec and see if there's any differences. All right, guys, so we're back already just in the menu. This game looks way better, obviously, because We went from 200 to 500 megabits a second, sorry, not 400 to 500, and it was H.264 plus. I didn't mess with the HVEC 10-bit one. I think that's a H.265 codec. I think people reported that one had a little bit better coloring, but I feel like a lot of people use the H.264 and the AV1 a little bit more. But, you know, what we'll do is after this, we'll jump in that real quick also just to give you an idea, see how it performs. So let's jump into exactly where we were before and see how that goes. So it looks a lot crisper. Obviously, we more than doubled the FPS for this game. Let's shoot this real quick.
Oh, you took care of that lock then. Good.
Yeah, we just had a quick 6 frames drop real quick. So pretty good. No.
I thought the Combine sealed up the QZ.
Oh, this one must have squirted out. I've heard they've had trouble with barnacle spores outside the containment area, but not about fellas like this.
Probably not a one-off then.
I doubt it.
Yeah, we do experience a couple drops in frames here and there.
Ah, would you look at that? Resin. And if there's resin around here, it should be a Combine fabricator. Keep an eye out. It might be able to upgrade your firepower a bit.
All right, guys, I feel like this is a pretty good spot to end it here. We got to another spot that was a lot of lighting and kind of wanted to get here first before I ended it, just to kind of compare it to other lighting spots that we were in. I mean, for the most part, even if we went to the H.265 setup or the HVEC, it's going to be pretty much the same. The 5090 should have no issues recording, streaming virtual desktop, and playing this game at max everything. Game's pretty fun. There, like we mentioned, there have been some spots where there's a little bit of a hiccup here and there, a few you know, frame drops, but you can always adjust that, lower the fidelity, this, that, and the other. And obviously, if I wasn't recording, I would have a lot better experience. I mean, the experience here is phenomenal. It's not really bad, but I would probably have a lot less hiccups because of the recording. That's another thing right there. So, like I mentioned, my PC specs are in the description below. I mentioned it earlier, but I wanted to do this video to, you know, help you guys out to do more of like a comparison to what you already have. You can run these tests on your own and see, you know, how does your setup compare to what a 5090 could provide, recording and everything. If you're not into recording either, that's you know, that makes it easier for you and your setup. It does not take as much resources. So I know a lot of people, you know, might have a 40 series, 30 series, or even 20, and few of you out there that have a 10 series card still, 1080 Ti team out there. You know, can I give you an idea? Is it even worth upgrading, or how much of a performance would I get? Am I happy with what I have? What would I get from a 5090? If you don't want to get a 5090, there's a 5080, 5070 Ti. There's other factors too. I mean, it kind of gives you an idea what the 50 series cards are capable of. If I wish I had all the other ones to do a bunch of VR tests for you guys. I would love to, but unfortunately, none of them, no, the company sent me any. If you want, let them know to send them to me. I would be more than glad to do some VR tests, because there's not a lot of VR testing out there nowadays. But that's it for the most part, guys. If you guys have enjoyed this video, please comment and like and subscribe. And please let me know below what other games you would want me to test with the 5090 and in VR. Or if you want flat screen games, but mainly VR, because I know there's not a lot out there. But take care, guys. Stay in VR, and peace.